We're getting late word tonight that Phil Jackson out of the United Center is just coming out to talk to the media. Let's go live there now to find out what the coach has to say.
And you can see he was just a little bit light on that wind area towards the end of the game. His legs were giving up on him. Did a great job. We had a great effort by BJ and Scottie Pippen. I thought our boards obviously failed us tonight, and we're going to have to work on that area of our game.
What happened with Larry?
On the call, it was a ball going over the backboard that didn't go over the backboard, and a change of possessions. Larry made a comment to the referee, and they got in a little bit of a discussion, and Larry ended up being on the back end of that one. Unfortunately, it was at a critical time, and we didn't need to lose 2 points.
Phil, Michael said you didn't have to win the game to get in their head. Do you think you did?
I don't know. You know, personally, I think that, you know, it was a game for us to kind of get our rhythm and sync together, and we had some moments where we played well and others I wasn't pleased with. I thought offensively, you know, we just didn't stay with what we try to do consistently. A lot of guys deferred to Michael, even put him in situations where he had to take shots that I didn't really appreciate or, you know, I really wasn't looking for. But, you know, those are situations where guys that haven't played with him are going to have to learn how to operate with him out on the floor. We shot the ball very well the first half. The fact that we only had 4 free throws, I think, was the indication that was a big difference in that first half. They shot 19 and outscored us considerably from the line. The second half was basically a rebound exhibition by them, and they did a wonderful job on the boards. I couldn't hear that. Well, I wanted him to have an opportunity to really play this game, and you know, people came to see him, and it was an opportunity. But yes, he's tired, and it's going to affect him tomorrow, and it's going to affect everybody tomorrow a little bit. There's a lot of energy that's dispersed out there that wasn't necessary, or you know, we'll have a tough game for ourselves tomorrow night. We'll see how we respond to that.
Did Michael just need to get this first home game out of the way?
Yes, that's really part of it. It's a big part of it, and you know, he's showed some flashes out there, but, you know, he knows also as well as we do that he's still a couple weeks away from, you know, being at the form we want him to be at.
Did he get back to early?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you know, he touches off, you should have waited another week or so.
Oh, no. You know, we want him back out there. We need to play with him. He needs to play with us, and that'll help us in the long run.
Michael kind of played with the certain things that was such important.
Well, that's the real important aspect, I think, of our game, and which is going to improve with the depth and balance that we'll have with this basketball club. Obviously, Michael playing in the second unit, second quarter, with Kerr and Pippen, or Pete, Weddington, Corey Blunt, etc. And those are the guys that really have not played with him and really need to find the rhythm and the style and know how to play with him in certain situations.
What have you seen from watching Michael that you think you have to work on most now?
Well, you know, obviously there's a lot of things that, you know, it's just a matter of sync, getting in timing, you know, understanding, you know, directions of teams. Tonight they came out, they moved the ball quickly, and Anderson hit a couple three-pointers almost immediately on him. And, you know, he got caught, you know, helping in rotations. Those little things are just a matter of timing that he'll learn, and, you know, in a matter of a week or so, I think all those defensive things will come back. The offensive end of it, I think it's all, you know, just instincts, and it'll come back as he plays, as he sees various defenses in front of him and various players that come at him. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Even if you restate that question, I don't know what a signature player is in the NBA. The NBA is made of teams, and, you know, literally you have to have teams to play with. I think as far as a draw, you know, there are a lot of players that are draws, and Shaquille's certainly one, and Michael certainly is a big draw as a performer. And Luke played very well. He played, you know, Shaquille was 10 for 21, and, you know, he did a fine job on him out there tonight. Okay.
So a tough homecoming for Michael tonight. I was looking over his statistics here. He played 44 minutes, more than anyone else in the building this evening. He shot 7 for 23. He had 21 points, but I'm sure that's not the percentage he would like to have. A game somewhat reminiscent of Indianapolis the other day. He did have 8 assists, though, and 5 steals. Horace actually coming back with a nice return to the stadium. He had 13 rebounds, 19 points for Horace Grant, sort of saying hello to Michael himself in a certain way, I suppose. Rich?
Okay, we're in the locker room here. Randy, Steve Kerr has joined us right now. Talk about Michael Jordan tonight's effort against the Magic.
That's a great rebounding team. Horace Grant, he does a great job, and Shaq is so big and strong. I mean, we're going to have trouble against that team as far as rebounding and getting after the ball because they're just big and strong.
Steve, any butterflies early about when Michael out there in the big crowd and everything?
Not really. I mean, it was exciting and everybody was fired up, but I didn't think there were butterflies. I think that there probably were some in Indianapolis last week, but not tonight. It was just more exciting.
Did they approach Jordan any differently than has been in the past? More double teaming or less double teaming or anything like that?
I don't know. This is my 3rd game playing with Michael. I've never played against the Magic, with him, and it didn't seem like they did much different to me.
Steve, it seemed like the double threat really hurt you guys. They'd spread out the offense, and then once they dumped it down low, then they'd put it back outside for the outside shot. That seemed to hurt you guys.
Well, you have to double team Shaq. He's just too big and strong underneath, and when you double team, you're going to have to give up something. The idea is to rotate your defense and try to cause them to make a bad pass, but if they make the right decisions, then they're going to have a good three-point shooter getting a good shot, so they're tough to cover.
Steve, the rebounding edge was 53-35 for them. I know it's tough to overcome. How do you attack that if you see them again in the playoffs?
Well, I mean, there's not much you can do. You try to box out and you try to get a body on somebody. When you double team Shaq, you also kind of take yourself out of rebounding position. And that's why Horace was such a big addition for them, because now all of a sudden you got him crashing the board, and he's a great rebounder, and so they're tough to cover.
Finally, what did you think about the ovation Michael got at the beginning of the game?
Oh, it was great. I had chills. I mean, I was excited just to be a part of it, and I know he was probably nervous, and I'm sure he'll settle down. And the encouraging thing is he had a bad game for him, and you look across the board, and he had unbelievable statistics except for his shooting percentage, but the guy was making steals and assists and rebounds. He's a spectacular player, and it's just going to be a matter of time before he gets his legs back.
Okay, Steve, thank you very much. That's Steve Kerr in the Bulls locker room. More a bit later on. A lot of the players are filing out already, so we are going to be thin going here for a while, Randy, but we'll be back a bit later on with more developments here in the Bulls locker.
Give me the ball.
Rich, Michael picked a tough week to come back. 4 games in 7 days. The Bulls playing again tomorrow in Atlanta. That game, of course, on WGN 630. Let me get that plug in. Phil saying they expended a lot of energy tonight. Michael, like I said, playing more than anyone else, 44 minutes. Phil said, he really didn't want to do that, but he sort of felt, people paid good money, so upwards of $3,000 for courtside seats. They wanted to see him tonight, and they certainly got their money's worth in terms of game time. He said Michael wanted to, and he felt should get this first home game out of the way. Maybe a lot of people didn't expect them to beat Orlando tonight, but they did show up. They led early. Probably a big key was when Shaquille O'Neal wasn't out, the Bulls did make more of a run there and increase their lead, and when Shaquille came back, that was pretty much it. We're waiting for Michael right now in this newly created media room here. It really didn't exist until Michael came back, so he's already added a room onto his house here at the United Center, and who knows what else he'll do before this is all over. Rich, what's going on in the locker room?
Okay, Randy, B.J. Armstrong is addressing the media right now, talking about the game and Michael Jordan. Let's scooch down here and get him if we can.
B.J., what ways do you find it that Michael disrupts the flow a little bit? I mean, what do you see out there specifically that tells you that things are a little different?
Well, defensively, I mean, he's out there very aggressive. He gets steals. I mean, I had a great steal out there this evening. It just takes time, man. We need timing. We need game-like situations. And, we wanted to win this game, but at the same time, we're right there. And we'll get better as these games go along and as the season goes along.
Did you have the attack, Michael, today? Anything different than the time before? Double teaming, that kind of thing?
Well, they came little, and Shaquille was zoning up in the back, so that's very tough. And Michael doesn't exactly have his legs up under him as of yet, and but he's just going to take time for him to get in the shape that he needs to get in, and pretty soon we'll all solve those problems.
Okay, BJ, thank you very much. Okay, Randy, that's BJ Armstrong, and back to you for more on this postgame show.
Okay.
Rich, we are told Michael is on his way in here right now. He's probably going pretty slow after all the playing time he's had over these past few games. One thing we noticed out there watching the game was he didn't seem to have the lift he normally does. He had a couple of shots blocked and a couple of layups that otherwise would have been dunks. I heard Kerr say that is one thing that will probably take him a little time to get back. We did see him get his shooting touch back in Boston, and tonight he really didn't shoot a whole lot from the outside, and in some of his drives he seemed to be a little bit tired. I'm looking off here to see if I see Michael coming in and his entourage, and he himself is on his way in. Probably not in too good a mood, but the class act that he is, he will talk to us tonight as he normally does, and let's give him a moment or two to get up to the podium, to pose his thoughts, and let's hear what he thought of tonight's ball game.
Michael Jordan.
Was it trying too hard? I guess, you know, every time I step the court, I try to do my best, you know, and right now I'm in the process of trying to push myself to get myself really back into the rhythm that I want. And a couple times, you know, I just didn't feel the rhythm, but yet I had the shot, you know, and if I'm on the court, you know, I can't pass open shots. I think that's just, you know, that's my nature, certainly. I got to take the open shot. The team relies on me to take the open shots, and as much as you know, I want to get my rhythm, I just hadn't gotten my rhythm thus far, and it's a little frustrating, certainly, but I just have to keep pushing myself.
Like a positive note, how do you feel about the arena, the crowd, the welcome?
I mean, certainly, the crowds paid me a lot of respect. It was fun coming back here, and disappointing when I certainly couldn't play the type of basketball I want to play or that they have seen me play. So hopefully by the end of the season I can play back up to my caliber of play. But it's real disappointing when I come in and I really can't do what I want to do. You know, offensively, I think the other phases of the game I try to contribute: defense, rebounding, whatever.
Michael, how long do you think it will take before the other guys learn to play with you?
I don't know. If I can answer that specifically, then that'll be an easy answer. But I think it's going to take some time, and I think we just have to, you know, keep playing and see when we are gelled together. Hopefully, it won't be long. Phil's playing me a lot of minutes, trying to get me to get used to the other players as well as the other players getting used to me, and I think he's also trying to get my legs back quickly. You know, I played 44 minutes, and a lot of those minutes I was kind of out of the way, you know, and I really wasn't as productive as I wanted to be. In practice, yes. I mean, what little practice time that we can give, you know, you got to realize, you know, for me, this is only my third, fourth game. Some of these guys have been playing 66, 67 games, so you don't want to wear them out too much in practice. You know, you got to worry about injuries or whatever. So, and hopefully they can recover quickly from game to game, but you don't want to tire them out.
Michael, what is missing in this pregame from your game? Are you concerned about it?
I'm not so concerned because I know I can play the game of basketball. I'm certainly not consistent offensively, and the team has not gotten used to playing with me as much as I still trying to learn how to play with some of the other guys. I mean, for instance, Bill Whittington, when I penetrate, I got to know that he's not going to roll to the hole. He's going to sit there on the baseline for the jump shot. I missed him a couple times tonight, and you know, that's something that I have to learn from.
Michael, you say something has to talk about driving about.
Either way, I mean, if you understand the game of basketball, I mean, you got to play with some rhythm. You know, jump shot, driving to the hole, knowing what to do when you go to the hole, knowing where your players are going to be when you go to the hole, and you create the, you know, the defense comes and helps out. You know, finding those guys in right spots. You know, right now, there's only a couple guys I know where they're going to be. You know, BJ, Pippen, you know, Tony, I'm learning, Luke, I'm learning, and Bill, I'm learning. Other guys, I'm learning. So when I dribble and I penetrate and the defense comes over, I'm having a tough time finding them. And when I'm dribbling and I'm going up on my jump shot, my legs and the rest of my body is certainly not in sync. So my shots are short. You know, I don't feel comfortable with the shot yet. As much as I practice in practice, when you get in the game, it's a whole different situation.
You said you didn't have to win to get to Orlando tonight, but after a while, when is going to determine?
Well, when after a while gets here, then you know. Right now, I think we're trying to win. I think, but we are going through an adjustment period because of myself being back into the lineup, and you love to learn and win at the same time, but something has to give, and right now something is giving, and it's the wrong thing that's giving. Horace is going to play his game. You know how Horace is going to play, and try to keep him off the board. Certainly, try to keep him from getting garbage baskets, and he's a very strong rebounder and keeps the ball alive and takes some of the pressure off of the guys on the board. And I wish he was on his team, but certainly he's not. So we have to treat him as that. Any trash talking? No, not that I know of. Not for me anyway.
Mike, some of the players earlier in the year said that it was tough for them to get used to this being a home court. Can you see it taking a while for you?
Certainly. I can see that happening. I'm used to playing across the street. It's a different surrounding, but the dimensions are the same. So you have to get used to the surroundings a little bit to where you feel comfortable. I don't really think that's the situation with me right now. I think it's more me more than the circumstances or the surroundings. So as much as I want to blame someone else, I got to blame myself, and my game, and I stunk it up a little bit offensively today, which is very disappointing. But when you have games like that, you try to do other phases of the game to make a contribution to the team. And I think one emphasis that Phil is trying to emphasize is that even though the team looks to come to me, as much as I want to contribute, I'm not quite ready to take that responsibility. I don't know. I didn't have anything to compare it to. So I'm back trying to figure out ways of getting my game back. Now, what do I compare it to? I don't know. I mean, the closest thing that I can compare it to is my second year when I missed 64 games and I came back, and it took me a while to get my rhythm then. Even though I was playing 7 minutes a half, it still took me a while to get my rhythm, and I don't anticipate it. I can't just turn it on as much as I want to. I just can't turn it on, and it's just going to take some time.
Are you more concerned about the rebounding?
Excuse me?
The rebounding? Are you getting more concerned about that?
Not so much the rebounding. It's just the hustle to the ball. A couple of times Orlando beat us to the ball, and we were giving up on the ball itself. I mean, we know that we have to compensate for that hard work and rebounding, such as Horace gave us the last couple of years. Pippen and I are going to try to get back and do a lot of rebounding, but it's the little things that's going to make the difference. The hustle of getting to the ball. We create a lot of turnovers and a lot of tip balls, and when we can't capitalize on that, then it's tough for us, knowing that we lose. We don't have the strong rebounder.
Michael, a lot of guys and fans are measuring you against what you were before you retired. What are you measuring yourself? How are you measuring yourself?
I'm just trying to feel comfortable again, to where I can do the necessary things to be productive offensively. Defensively, I mean, I'm trying to make adjustments from a physical standpoint to move out and be aggressive defensively. Right now, I can't do that for 44 minutes. Even though I'm pushing myself, my legs gives out a little bit down the stretch, and so I'm really trying to push myself in all phases of the game so I can recover quickly.
Do you find there are things that happen in the game that help you improve your caliber?
I don't understand that question. In what sense?
Are there things that give you a rush that help you to achieve your goals or your performance?
I'm out there. That's a rush within itself. Quite naturally, when you do make contributions, when you make a basket, when you make a steal, when you make a block shot or rebound, I mean, that's adrenaline enough to motivate you to do more of it. But the mind and the physical, for me, is having a tough time getting together on the same page.
So Michael being gracious as usual, even though he is obviously disappointed in tonight's homecoming, saying his legs were giving out on him. He was a little bit tired tonight, very frustrated, and says he wants to do a lot better. That's basically it right now from the United Center. Let's send it over to Steve and Jackie back at the studios.
Welcome back to the United Center. Dan Roan, sorry to report the Bulls could not pull it out on Michael Jordan night here on the west side. 106-99, they lose to the Orlando Magic. And let's get right to the highlights if we can, because they're about to pull the plug on us here. Michael had his moments, I will say that. Inside from Scottie Pippen, that was his first dunk. He wound up with 21 points, but didn't shoot the ball very well. B.J. Armstrong, though, had a terrific game for the Bulls. 23 to lead the way, the steal and layup there, and things were going pretty well in the first half. Now watching the run here, Michael had Scottie in his sights the whole way down. It was 57-54 Magic at halftime. In the third quarter, the Bulls came on and took the lead. Off the steal, Michael stuck his arm out and then planted one. Bulls led by as many as 6 in the third, but Orlando went on a 9-0 run late in the fourth quarter. Horace Grant, the rebound. The Bulls were down by a bucket there, and then later on the steal as Michael couldn't get it done, and Penny Hardaway did, and the final score 106-99. And of course, a big night for Horace Grant, as it always is when he comes back to the United Center to play against his old teammates. Especially big tonight for him because he was playing against Michael Jordan. Here's Horace.
Other than his foul shooting, he's Michael. You think Phil overused him? 44 minutes, his third game. You could tell he had no legs left in the fourth quarter.
Well, you know, that's up to Phil. You know, I really can't answer that question because, you know, Michael's Michael, and you know, Phil really wanted to win this ball game tonight, and he tried to get everything he could out of Michael, and I think it really hurt them in the long run.
Stat story on Michael tonight, 7 out of 23. That's not near close. Pretty good numbers the rest of the way down, and 44 minutes. He's going to be one sore puppy when he takes the floor in Atlanta tomorrow night, a game you can see at 6:30 right here on WGN.
Sometimes I dream that he is me. You got to see that's how I dream to be. I dream I move. I dream I groove. Like Mike. If I could be like Mike.
The man who flies is going to soar above the Hawks. Michael's comeback continues in Atlanta. It's the Bulls against the Hawks on Jordan Week. Tomorrow night at 6:30 on WGN Channel 9.